These are all my thoughts and opinions based on public information in the public domain. Please do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Oh my God. Did you guys see the live feed of the trial of the Court of Appeal for Meghan Markle's letter? How terrible. I mean, there's no way to change this. This woman is horrible. For some people, what I got from this, by all means, know that I'm not an expert, but what I got from this is the following. Judge Warby basically, he chose a specific lie, which was text messages from Meghan Markle saying that, oh, her father hadn't written to her. She's desperately trying to contact him, that she sent a car for him to take him to the airport, and he ignored all of her calls. Judge Warby used that text as the foundations of his judgment, knowing full well, because he had all the other text from Mr. Markle to his daughter, telling her, I'm at the hospital, I had a heart attack, this is happening, I won't be able to go. So he had all of those text messages from Mr. Markle, and he chose to ignore them and use Meghan Markle's false text, because what Meghan Markle did is called gaslighting. I'll tell you something. I'll give you an example. My ex-husband, he would tell people that I was stopping him from seeing our son. And how can you prove a negative? So you know what he would do? I remember one example. I'll give you one example. He was supposed to go pick up our son at school, and so I didn't think about picking my son up at school, right? So I get a text message from my ex-husband saying, where is Hendrik? Why are you hiding him from me? And I'm like, what do you mean, why am I hiding him from you? It's 4 o'clock. Hendrik finished school at 2. Why are you sending me this text now? Where is my son? I immediately started panicking, because my son sure as hell wasn't with me, and he was supposed to pick him up. And then he sent me a text message saying I went to pick him up, but I didn't find him. At this point in time, my whole world explodes, because the first thing I think is my son is missing. What's happened to my son? So I called the school. The whole school is in panic looking for Hendrik. And they couldn't find him. They went on loudspeakers. They had speakers, so they called out his name. I called out the police. I was freaking out. I was crying, because all I can think of, where's my son? So then the school, and please keep in mind, I kept texting my ex, I'm at the school, please come. Something has happened to Hendrik, because, he's not with you, right? He doesn't answer. He just sent that text message saying, what have you done with Hendrik? So finally the school, they had video cameras. So they see Hendrik getting into my ex's car, his father's car. So I don't even remember the drive to the apartment that I had rented out. I had gotten him a really nice apartment for him to stay with Hendrik. So I don't even remember that drive. All I remember is rushing, banging on the door, and he opens the door with my son next to him, laughing. To this day, he still maintains that he didn't pick him up, that I was hiding him from him. So I do understand Mr. Markle, and I do know what Meghan Markle was doing. She was sending text messages, never addressing the point that her father was making. Why would she send a car to pick up her father? She never did, by the way. If her father had been informing her by text that he was sick, that he had a heart attack, that he had a heart procedure, and that he wouldn't be able to travel. So if she indeed sent that car, it's just for show. Now, so Judge Warby knew, because he had those text messages there. And he ignored those text messages as non-existing evidence. And he made a ruling based on false evidence. So that takes away Meghan Markle's credibility. The fact that we now know, thanks to the fact that this lawyer read out some of the text, that Mr. Markle was writing to her, and Meghan Markle was simply not answering, or answering something completely different than what he was telling her, as though pretending like that what her father was saying, or pretending she didn't receive those messages, in spite of the fact that now it's been confirmed that she did get those text messages. Do you know what I mean? That's called gaslighting. That's a form of abuse. Now, what's really, really terrible here, I'm sorry, I just, wash my hair. So what's really terrible here is the text message that piece of, I'm sorry, I'm going to swear, that piece of nasty shit called Harry, he does not deserve the mother he got. I swear to God, he does not. Princess Diana did not deserve to sire such a disgusting piece of shit. He sent, and the lawyer wanted to read out the text message from Prince Harry to Meghan Markle's quite ill father, lying in a hospital bed from a heart attack. I mean, did he want to finish him off? I mean, what a nasty piece of shit. And the court didn't allow the lawyer to read out Harry's text message. Why? The court is still protecting Harry. Harry, that message, and that message is important because of that message, the whole relationship went to pieces. Okay? Now, we don't know who wrote that because it came from the same number that it was being used. The only number that Mr. Markle had. The only way that Mr. Markle could tell the difference is because who was signing the message. Whether it was Harry or Meghan. Now, we now know. So, and the court prevented the lawyer from reading the message because it was quite nasty. So I don't know about you guys, but Judge Warby's coming across as deeply biased or ignorant of the law. Either way, it's not good, because how can you have somebody in that high position, when he can be obviously biased or an idiot? You cannot have an idiot administering law. How did he get into that position? Clearly, Prince Charles, I think he got a lordship. He became Lord Warby. And I think it was Prince Charles who knighted him. So is this Prince Charles, interfering to help Harry and Meghan Markle? That's the only thing I can think of. Because and this is why everybody, even the judges, had to say, yeah, it was actually particularly curious. That's their way to saying, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Because they were even baffled by the judgment that this guy made based on lies. Because at least something good came out, which is the fact that we now know. Well, we always known Meghan Markle was a liar and Harry's a piece of shit. But this is nice because this is in a court of appeals. The Oprah interview? We all know those are lies. But these are in a court of law. These are a matter of public record. And we have 5 accomplices, not 5 friends, 5 accomplices who knew that information that Meghan Markle was lying. They all knew. And they all were in agreement to go to People magazine to cause damage to an elderly man who happens to be her father. Meghan Markle is a psycho. This woman is a psychopath. She has no love for anybody. I don't know about you, but the way she, do you remember when I'm sure you all seen the South African tour that she gave. Remember how she was carrying the baby. This is a coffee thing. Here, pass it, Harry. Take it. I mean, there was nothing. Even I was a new mom with my son, and I mean, you don't hold a child like that, especially yours. I mean, you guys are mothers, even fathers. You know the way you hold the child, the way. But oh no, Meghan Markle's like, here, take it. Yeah, see that? Yeah, here he goes up. I mean, incredible. This woman has no love. She has no feelings towards anybody because she's a psycho. She's a psycho. You know, it's a cycle. She's a psycho. But it's terrible that this judge issued his judgment. Now we know, because remember, he didn't allow what this judge, what the lawyers are doing is putting out their evidence. And even then it's limited, because it would be a hell of a lot more. It will be a hell of a lot more once it goes to trial, because there's no way this thing is not going to trial given everything that's coming out. And the matter of the fact that the judgment was faulty in law. How can he base, that is absolute biased on, for him to, because what it does when he chose that particular text, which he knew was a lie, to base his judgment, it's basically to say that text is true, that what Meghan Markle was saying is true, in spite of the fact that he knew it was a lie. So he is an accomplice. These are all my thoughts and opinions. Because if a judge has the evidence and he chooses a false piece of evidence to base a judgment against somebody else, and he makes it very public, he's because of the position he's in, because this is a judge, it gives that lie credibility. So what did you all think? Oh, it must be true then that Mr. Markle didn't talk to his daughter, because the judge said that, what she said is true. He used that text to highlight everything. Do you understand how terrible that is? And I know I've been down on Mr. Markle a lot, because his wishy-washy way of doing things and things he's saying. But it is a terrible position to be in, especially when the other person has more power than you do. And you know what? Let me tell you something. It's just my opinion. It's even more terrible that Buckingham Palace has stood by and done nothing. You know the Good Samaritan law and the bystander effect too. The bystander effect is that nobody does anything. Let me give you an example. I don't know if you heard about this case. I think it was in Philadelphia. This woman got raped in the subway during daylight. And she wasn't the only one. They weren't the only two there. There were like at least 20 people inside the carriage on the subway. Do you think anybody helped her while the guy was doing that to her? Nobody did, but they all filmed it. How can nobody? They could have overtaken this guy out. So that's the bystander effect. You watch people, it's kicking a dog when it's down. Why couldn't Palace issue a statement? Hopefully this will go to trial and Jason Kanoff will be prompted to give testimony that they were forbidden by Meghan Markle to assist her father, because it is known that she prevented Buckingham Palace from giving Mr. Markle the courtesies, the help, the assistance that they gave Doria, because Meghan Markle took care of Doria, but not her father. So that makes it to me particularly terrible that Buckingham Palace should have at least issued a statement saying, you know what, we did offer assistance, but Mrs. Markle refused it. She said that she was going to handle it herself. So to me, and I ask you this, guys, why would she send a card? Now that we know we've known she's a bloody liar. But now that we know in this particular case, that it's in a court now. Now we know in a court of law that she lied about this, particularly about saying that her father didn't answer her messages. Probably her father was notifying what was going on, and she was answering he was saying, I had a heart attack, and she kept going on and on about the wedding. I mean, the fact that Mr. Markle felt compelled to apologize for having a heart attack. If it had been me, I would have canceled everything, and I'm pretty sure the queen would have understood that. But you know why this woman was determined to go ahead with that wedding no matter what? Because she knew time was running out. Time always was running out on Meghan Markle because she was about to be found out. And this is what happens when you are in that kind of skunk. She's a complete skank. I'm sorry, she's a skank. She needed that wedding certificate. And no matter if her father had passed away that very same day, she would have still gone through with that wedding, no matter what. Because she needed that wedding certificate. What do you guys think? So now we know, so why would she be sending a car if her father is sending her numerous texts telling her, I had a heart attack, and keeping her updated of his illness? Why is she sending a car? I don't think she did. And again, it reminds me of my ex-husband, what he used to do. So it's pretty terrible. It is a pretty terrible thing to be in. And my heart goes out to Mr. Markle. I'm hoping because, one of the things that the law in the UK says, that you have a right to defend yourself, which is what he was doing from all the fallacies and the lies that Meghan Markle's and her 5 accomplices gave, and even Oprah. You know why Mr. Markle called the paparazzi for them to take a picture of him handing the note to Oprah? Because he wanted a witness, a public witness that he had asked for an interview to defend himself. People magazine refused Mr. Markle his right to defend himself because he actually went to People magazine and they refused it. Just like Oprah has refused to interview Mr. Markle to hear his truth or his version of events. I don't think there's a thing like his truth or her truth. There's a version of events and then there's the truth. But I would bet my butt that Mr. Markle's version of events is more accurate than Meghan Markle's. Now, for all of my friends who are in California, for the people who view me in California, I think that the yogurt place where Meghan Markle worked as an underage minor, which is against the law, is called Humphrey Yogurt, right? So if you Google it, you will find where it is. So all of you publicly ask him if they were hiring exploiting minors, because hiring somebody under the age of 14 is illegal in the state of California. So ask him. It's time. This is, I've been waiting for this because more lies are going to come out. And it's going to get worse when it goes to trial. But at least, please, everybody, I'll leave the link of the trial. You go and post it everywhere. I mean, make this blow up. And let's see what happens. But there's no way that this goes to trial. And shame on Judge Warby. In a way, shame to the royal family for not issuing a statement. And by them standing by with watching what Meghan Markle was doing very publicly to her father, involving the royal family, because she kept going that she sent the car, I did this, I sent people, and these people are supposed to be her staff employed by the UK. And employed by the royal family, paid for by the taxpayers. So what do you guys think?